Right. So if you are a parent and you may be watching this on YouTube or you may be listening to this and you may be thinking, oh my God, that is me.
Yeah.
You know, I have one or two or more very anxious children. I spend my whole life trying to ward off whatever it is they're anxious about, or protect them, or soothe them, or reassure them, or persuade them to do something that they really, really are very fearful of doing. And this has been going on for ages and it's wearing me down. I'm exhausted and I can never relax because they're never relaxed, or very rarely. And you're thinking, God, that is me. I am in survival mode. What happens if that just goes on and on and on and on and you somehow cannot call time on it?
So I think the answer is, if you're doing, and the other symptoms you might notice in yourself are being incredibly reactive when people talk to you. So your child says, like, where's my shoes? And instead of thinking, where did I last see the shoes? I think maybe they're by the stairs. You just start screaming, you always lose your shoes. I don't know why. And you just, everything feels like a needle to the body. Everything feels too big to carry. If I ask you to put something on your to-do list, you just think that I already have an impossible to-do list. There's no way I'll ever get to the end of it. Of course, I can't possibly pick up the children from ballet as well. This would be impossible. That's survival mode. This idea that there's no more space. There's nothing else you've got in the tank, and it's exhausting. But you may also find yourself, for example, once your children going to bed, staying up much later to try and get time where no one asks you to do anything, what they now call low demand activity time, where you think, I really should go to sleep because I know I'm exhausted, but I'll just stay up and watch one more thing. So I've got this time where I can drink my coffee slowly, or a cup of tea. No one's asking me to do something. No one's going, Mom, Dad. You think, I just want time where there's low demand intensity, where I can just be quiet and no one's asked me to do something. But then, of course, you're delaying sleep, so you're more exhausted. So you've got less than the type of day after.
Loads of people relate to that as well.
Right.
I certainly know I've done that myself on many, many occasions. You're trying to carve out
a bit of space,
a little bit of pleasure, a bit of relaxation, when actually you're completely knackered and you just, you haven't even got the energy to enjoy it, but you're still determined to do it. And with me, it was always a bit of chocolate cake or something, as people well know.
In the evening.
Yes, just have a Mars bar at this point because you jolly well deserve it, because the day's been so difficult.
And why not? I think sometimes it's absolutely okay to let yourself have the nice pleasures of watching an extra episode or eating a chocolate bar. Like, I'm not telling anybody off. This is not the point of this podcast, and it never has.
No, of course not. So if people are listening and watching on YouTube and thinking, oh God, that is like me. Yeah. But they may also be thinking, yeah, you're describing it very vividly. Yes, that's my life. Yup, I am just surviving. I'm working, I'm running a home, I've got anxious children, I've got either a difficult relationship or no relationship, or things are hard. Money is very, very tough, and things are hard for me. So it's all very well Vanessa and Saskia banging on about it and describing it so vividly. That's great. But how do I ever see an end to it? And is there any way of somehow rescuing myself from this and getting out of it? And the answer is
yes, there are lots and lots of ways, and we're going to try.
Hooray, let's go yes with a big capital S.
Yes, there are. Yes, you can.
Oh,
yes.
Good. Okay,
so there are lots of ways.
The
first one is, for a short amount of time, to prioritize sleep. And a short amount of time, having spoken to a very clever sleep psychiatrist, is 30 days.
Right.
It's not a very long time. It's 1 month. 1 month of good sleep gets you back to your optimum brain chemicals. Your ability to manage stress will improve exponentially. Your feeling of calm in yourself and time in the day, actually, despite having less time because you've been asleep longer, will actually feel like you've got more time. So it's very easy to say, but the answer is, just for a month, say to yourself, on all the days except, let's say, Saturday, where I may actually try and stay up and do something fun, for 30 days, except the Saturdays of the month, I'm going to go to bed at 10 instead of 1, or instead of 11, I'm going to go to bed at 10. I'm going to watch one less program. I'm not going to say I can't watch any programs, but if I'm watching half-an-hour shows, I'm going to watch one less half-an-hour show. 30 minutes less of watching and 30 minutes more of sleep will feel physically different in every hour of the day that you're awake.
Right.
You will feel better, noticeably better. And if you have a partner, or you have a cousin or a friend who might be able to help you manage bedtime, so you're more likely to get that earlier bedtime for yourself, I would ask for your favors now and say to your partner, I just need to sleep for a month, just for 1 month. Every evening I need to go to bed earlier for a month, only a month. I need to go to bed earlier. I'm not saying I need to go to bed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but I need to go to bed early, and I want you to like be a bit, humorously forceful with me and say, you said you were going to do this for a month. We've got to get you back to your real self. Let's do it. Okay. And focus on this. That's the first one. So sleep is the number one thing I would recommend people do who are in survival mode. If you've got a baby that's keeping you up in the night, ask your partner, ask a friend, ask your mother to come over and sleep for 1 hour, like have a nap occasionally. Try and catch your sleep where you can, and understand that that's the thing that will make you feel the best, the quickest, is the sleep thing. And you can do it by only going to bed half an hour earlier every night and getting half an hour more sleep. So it's a small thing, but it would make a very big difference. I think the other things are considering the idea that you're asking too much of yourself all the time, and not to say, I'm going to lower my expectations for myself forever. I'm never going to be the kind of parent who. There's no need to put a big line on anything, but to think, am I just asking myself to do too much at the moment? I'm working, I'm picking my kids up, I'm, trying to meet every single deadline. What could I give myself a break on for a short time? So for example, if you're always cooking and cooking and cooking, you might think, we're going to do sandwich dinner twice a week. There's nothing to clean up. The kids can make their own sandwiches. I won't have to do any washing up afterwards. Everyone will eat a sandwich. Is it bad to eat a sandwich twice a week? Absolutely not.
Particularly if from me, give them crisps to put in the sandwiches and everyone will be in bliss.
Exactly.
You put in a sandwich.
A nice sandwich that, everyone's going to eat. You're not going to have a fight over meal times. You're not going to have to do loads of washing up. You're not going to spend ages slaving over a stove. Give yourself the freedom to be a little bit more lax for a short time. Maybe you think that's not what I want to do for the rest of my life, give my children sandwiches for dinner. Okay, no one is saying that you have to. At the moment, you haven't got capacity for more. It's okay to say that to yourself and to think, where am I pushing too hard? I always say to people, how many clubs and things are your children doing after school? What's the schedule like for everybody? If you've only seen your children for 15 minutes while they're putting on their shin pads a day, that's not good for anyone. Where's the connective time for all of you? Where's the downtime? Why are we always rushing? It's going to make us feel like we're in survival mode more if we never have a chance to just stay still for a second. So I would say reduce clubs, unless, for example, after school clubs mean that you then get a bit of time to have a hot cup of tea. Keep your clubs, but consider the idea that we're all doing a bit too much, and it's okay for our children to be bored, and it's okay for our children to learn some play skills by themselves because we haven't made them 100 activities to do. Where am I pushing myself too hard for no reason? There are things you will have to do. You'll have to be at work on time. You'll have to get your children to bed. What about the stuff in the middle? How much of that stuff is too much? And is it okay for a short time for you to think, one night a week we'll watch a film, one night a week we'll go to the park and I'll sit on a bench and do my emails while they play? How can I make my life feel more manageable? And also remind yourself, this is not an emergency. So sometimes with the anxiety that comes in, we believe things are emergency, a 10 out of 10 emergency. My child is unhappy at school. This is a 10 out of 10 emergency. It isn't a 10 out of 10 emergency. It's not great. No one's saying we want to stay like this. But the idea that we have to up-level everything to emergency status keeps us in survival mode. So I would say to myself, my child is unhappy at school, for example. I know that I can have play dates outside school with their cousins, which will make them feel they've got more friends. I know at the weekend we're not going to talk about school at all, which means that they don't have to worry about it while it's the weekend. I've made it myself less of an emergency. I'm going to tell myself, this is not an emergency. It's bad. I'm sorting it out. This is not an emergency. And I'm going to say that to my child. I can see it really feels difficult, but I'm sorting it out. And this is no longer an emergency.
God, so you are actually calming me down while you're saying that?
Yeah, the phrase,
I'm not even joking. I'm actually feeling calmer.
Is an absolute
because I definitely have a tendency even now.
Oh, you love an emergency.
To think everything is an emergency.
You love an emergency.
Do I love an emergency?
You get into it quickly. Someone says something very small and you're like, they're going to fire me. This is over. I can't do this. It's never going to happen.
Isn't that catastrophizing? Is that the same thing?
Yes. So making things into emergency is very similar to catastrophizing. It's jumping to the worst case scenario. But almost nothing is the worst case.
See, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say, when you said you love an emergency.
You love your emergency.
I thought you were going to say you love sort of hyping everything up so that it really feels as if it matters.
No,
so that I'm kind of like over-dramatizing my own life to make it all seem as if it's an emergency when it isn't, that kind of thing.
So I think you like to make things feel exciting, and that's great. And that's positive. And it means instead of thinking like, oh, we're going to go to the supermarket feels like a great, exciting odyssey. That's great news. That's what we're looking for. The excitement, the chemicals of life feel rich, feel deep, with lots of dopamine, lots of oxytocin. That's what we want. What we're doing by allowing things that aren't an emergency to feel like an emergency is saying to my body, please make loads and loads of cortisol. Please make me feel panicky. Please up level this to the point where I can't function. It's not an emergency. You absolutely can function. You can think about this in a more calm way. You can make a plan that actually works rather than is scrabbled and like we're in a rush to leave. We're not. Sit down. This is not an emergency. What do we need to do?
Okay, well, there's an out clause for somebody in survival mode. This is not an emergency. I really might use that today.
You're welcome.
In fact, I might use that in the next 10 minutes.